There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true. Yo, folks, the Yonkō Table has set sail yet again, and more appropriately this time, towards the Grand Line. You read the title of this episode correctly, folks. We are taking a voyage on our first ever One Piece Chronicles. What exactly a One Piece Chronicles is? Well, we're going to be starting from chapter 1 and recapping all of our favorite moments throughout all of the arcs of One Piece, leading up to the current arc that is going on right now at the recording of this episode, which is Wano. I'm hoping Wano is heading towards the end by the time we catch up with everything, but we'll see. We'll see how close we get. But with me, as always, to cover up One Piece is fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop. Grandmaster, I see the rivalry in your background, the classic rivalry.
Yeah. I just think I didn't really realize how there were a lot of tidbits and like greater kind of things going on very early on. This specifically was thought to be kind of throwaway. Then obviously we learned a lot more about this relationship and how these two even know each other.
With Shanks and Buggy.
Yeah, with Shanks and Buggy. And it's really cool to go back and see Oda really setting the pieces and then just kind of, pulling the rug from under you and be like, oh, snap. They were part of that crew? What the heck? What a crew. So I think it'll be fun as we explore these One Piece Chronicles to see what we can find in our discussion of, just the overall takes on these arcs and the greater impact, if there are any, further along the line.
No, I agree. This will definitely be a fun voyage as we get further along. But with us, as always, our fellow Supernovas. And let's dive deep into it. So our first One Piece Chronicles, so typically the way we're going to handle this in the future, we're going to dedicate one episode per arc, right? But this first episode is a special exception. We're going to be covering all of Romance Dawn up until Syrup Village. And the reason why we're doing that is because these arcs by themselves, early One Piece, probably can't carry themselves for an entire episode on the Yonkō Table. So we decided to more or less lump them together. So from all the way from chapter 1 up until Syrup Village, which if you guys don't remember, that is the Usopp arc where they go and meet Usopp and they obtain the Going Merry. But I guess I'll throw this onto the table at first. Were you guys hooked into One Piece, like reading from these chapters up until Syrup Village, or did you have to get a little bit farther past that point before you were like, oh, okay, now I'm dedicated to this series?
I honestly can't remember if I even went back and read these chapters. I know for a fact, I feel the beginning of my One Piece manga reading started with Fishman Island. So after the 2-year gap, I want to say maybe I've read the Barati arc in like Shonen Jump. You remember
Barati
those big
was
Shonen, the
Barati
Shonen
was the
Jump
first
magazines? I think that was my first exposure, but that's fine. I feel the anime adapted these early chapters fairly to a T. So I don't think there's any major differences going on here. But that's okay. That's okay. I think whether you join as a manga or an anime fan is fine. Yeah, I think the really big question is, did you join, if you're an anime, if you started with the anime, did you join with 4Kids or did you join with, like Funimation when they took it over? That's a more fun question, I think.
I would say, yeah, I kind of jumped in on 4Kids.
Same, I did too. I it is what it is.
4Kids has its charm as cheesy, and the edits in 4Kids is insane. But Yeah, I definitely, the first arc I ever read was Verity, the one with Sanji, and then after having read that in the thick monthly Shonen Jump volumes in America, that's when I went back and like started buying the volumes individually to read these early chapters. I'll be honest, I probably would not have been invested into One Piece had I started from the beginning. I'm really glad I started with Verity, because I feel like Verity is where they really raise the stakes compared to the previous arcs. So reading the previous arcs, I'm like, okay, so I'm expecting Verity and these other ones, and it never really met those expectations. But I reading them back, I still appreciate what some of the early chapters did. How did you, like, looking back on chapter 1, like I feel like the further you get into One Piece, the more chapter 1's significance starts to carry more weight. Do you guys ever like see yourselves going back in like chapter 1 and reading like, oh, okay, so Shanks specifically said this on this panel to Luffy, therefore 1,000 chapters later, that's what this means? You guys ever find yourself doing that?
Ooh.
Not those first chapters, but like, I mean, I'll look back at like older chapters to see like what's going on current and be like, oh, we missed about 26 clues and completely forgot about them. And the early chapters were like that, I guess, for Shanks really, and just for like Zoro, and just like the small tidbits that we did get of them back then, that I guess I felt like weren't that big of a deal. And when I started One Piece, I like started with 4chan, but I didn't like, or 4Kids, I didn't really.
Yes, be certain it was 4Kids.
4Kids.
What kind of stuff were you starting on 4chan with One Piece?
Ooh, is this One Piece? 4chan. Slipped up. Oh man. That's funny.
Okay. So back out of the time machine. So 4Kids. So no, it started then, but I didn't get interested until like I know we talked about it before, but I didn't get interested until later, like maybe like middle school. So I didn't really read it. I watched it, and then I started reading because I was like, I need spoilers in my life. I can't continue with just being left behind on the anime all day. And I would say it was it's like fun to go back and see just relevance, but like you can like for me, I can really tell that I like it, like just seeing your background, Dr. JaceAttorney.
Oh, that
reminds me of how gruesome it was to get through those like first episodes. It felt like really slow and awful. Like when I was rewatching it, and I was like, all right, like I'm an adult now. Let me actually like sit down and watch this from episode 1 to like, I think I was at Punk Hazard at the time. So I was like, let me go ahead and watch all of it. And I was like, oh my God, the first 100 episodes were like emotionally fulfilling, but they were awful. Like it was like it just dragged. It just was a reminder how much the show can drag sometimes. But I'm not gonna beat up One Piece too much right now.
I think I bring a special perspective to this group because I was a One Piece denier for most of my life.
A naysayer, yeah.
I was definitely, and I think a lot of it had to do because I never read. It never interested me when it was in Shonen Jump. I was more like, oh my God, Naruto, and that really clicked for me. And you know, there was a big competition and rivalry among the fan bases. And also, I never really got Shonen Jump because I only really got them when they had a special Yu-Gi-Oh card in them.
Ooh, yeah. The Egyptian god card.
Take us back, yes.
I think the best card I ever got from them and this is a side tangent, but it was like a zombie, and it was purple, and it was like a king of zombies. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. But
I feel I know what you're talking about too.
But what do you call it? So it wasn't until one meme that changed my outlook on it forever.
I know what you're talking about.
And it was a meme. I forget what the meme was. It was And then every time I come across it, I share it. And then DrJaceAttorney is just like, Kenneth, that's the meme that got you into One Piece. And
is it the one where it's saying One Piece is about like oh my god, I don't want to butcher like the actual subtitle, but it's saying like One Piece is an attack on the government and how like capitalist it is and everything.
That was the meme that got him started. He was like, I remember the group.
I remember he sent it and he asked, Nino asked, "Is this true?" And it's like, yes, Kenneth, it is. Watch it.
And so then I began my journey, and I'm reading through this now, specifically in the manga. Things happen a lot different, but I went through it, I think, September of last year, and now I'm all caught up. But these first chapters, especially where we see everyone, and I did start off with the 4 kids, but the 4 kids really butchered. I started off in Loketown, butchered everything. And Loketown, I remember so succinctly, and I also remember that Sanji had a lollipop, not a cigarette.
The best edit. I love it.
And what do you call it? Then I remember bits and pieces of the island with like assassins that they end up later down the line in Alabasta.
Oh, Baroque works, yeah.
Yeah, some parts of Alabasta, but after that I was like, I don't really want to pick this up. This seems too goofy. But these opening chapters do a really good job of kind of sneaking in a lot of the emotional like weight. Like you really do feel for Luffy in the first chapter, because he's like a little kid who doesn't know anything about the world, but gets so moved and changed that he's like, now my life will forever be headed in one direction when it could have gone any which way.
No, I agree that because when people talk about their favorite moments in One Piece, usually the conversation doesn't go before Arlong Park. Usually some people will mention certain moments, but I feel like there's some decently impactful moments in early One Piece. We're up to Romance Dawn and Syrup Village. I mean, obviously Nino mentioned it right now, chapter 1, the scene where Shanks sacrifices his arm to save Luffy, that changed his life forever. And people always go back to it. You always see Toei Animation readapting that scene, and it keeps getting better every time they add more scenes to it, more minutes to it. It was great. And then he leaves the island. What was the first move he did? Gomu Gomu no Pistol, right? To the Sea King. And then bam, off onto the voyage. And then his dinghy ends up in a whirlpool, from what I remember. I think that ship sank really quickly. But what did you guys think about the first arc coming in? That's the arc where he meets Alvida. So you could say Alvida is like the first villain Luffy encounters, and he meets Kobe as well. Did you guys like the interaction with him and Kobe, or Alvida in general? I mean, she's very stereotypical, like, big, mean, jerkish captain of a pirate crew, and I treat Kobe like basically the ship's janitor like terribly. And Luffy beats the crap out of her. I don't know, like, I'm assuming you guys probably weren't sold yet at Alvida, right? Or
I mean, I think Alvida just serves the purpose of, let's look at the variety of pirates we will find in this world, because she's a cowboy, she's a cowgirl with a giant club, a mace. Yeah. Like, what the hell is going on here? And on top of that too, anybody can get this Goma Goma no, so Luffy wants to punch the crap out of Alvida. Right, anybody can get this Goma Goma no. But also, Kobe, I mean, you don't really think much of it at first, but he's the first kind of Marine representation, and he and again, you don't think it's anything at all, because you see Kobe and he's here for like, a couple of chapters, a couple of episodes, and then you don't see him forever again, But
Yep.
it's just the two paths you can choose in this world of piracy. You could be a pirate or you could be a Marine. And then, you know, of course, this is Luffy's story. So we see his story. And then, you know, we catch up with Kobe in time. A character you probably never thought you would see again. Really like his come up later. And that's the thing.
He
You
got
don't
a
really
big
think
glow up.
anything about it. Right.
Yeah, and I think his was because I think that Kobe is kind of the second main character of the series in terms of like thematic storytelling. Like I'm not counting any of the Straw Hats. Anyone.
Okay, no,
To me,
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
but like someone else who will meet in who'll be introduced in like properly introduced in Alabasta, they have to go on their own journeys, and this is Luffy's journey, and you know what I mean. But also those two, with Kobe and the other character I'm talking about, are also one of the first instances I think of the cover stories coming into play. So that's interesting when we get down the line.
Helmeppo.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Helmeppo, but he is included. But
Right. You mean like later on in the cover stories, they show like what the characters are doing while the main story is going for. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
That is the earliest instance I remember that being a thing. Maybe there's one or two others before that. I don't remember them, but I remember that being a significant one because I was like, oh wow, so they're actually training to be Marines. That's funny. But I mean, Alvida's basically wrapped up in like what, an episode, 2 episodes max?
Yeah.
She's
I
not around
think
for
just the first episode.
just one. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
There we go. Yeah, she's taken care of, done, and it's kind of like what Grandmaster said. It's just a means to establish anyone can get Luffy's hands. So swept under the rug. Bring on Kobe as we go on to what's the name of the island with Captain Morgan?
Oh, I don't know the name of the island, but you know,
But
Luffy's...
it's the Captain Morgan.
right. And
Arc.
I just
Captain
remember
Morgan.
Captain Morgan.
Captain
Yeah.
Morgan, yeah.
Everyone remembers good old Captain Morgan. I mean, you know, his anatomy always bothered me because you look at his elbow and straight from his elbow is coming the I guess the grip of
peg,
the axe. Yeah, it just looks. I don't know. I see it and it just churns my stomach.
Oh,
every
I never
time
thought
I
of
see
it as the grip of the axe. Wow, I just thought
What
it was
did you
a
think
weird
it was?
a weenus. You know.
He got elongated. He got an elongated
The
weenus
longest elbow alive.
Yes, correct. That's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
on the hand that happens to be an axe. Just
Yeah.
that one.
And he had a locked jaw, an iron jaw for some reason too. Yeah. I don't know.
Instead, it got blown off in battle or something.
Is that what it was?
Something, yeah. I think he was chasing a pirate or something like that. It was blown off in like a battle.
Yeah, just so
Yeah.
you know, these weird designed characters.
Mm-hmm. But like, see,
Yeah.
I feel like he's a perfect representation of the theme that One Piece was trying to elicit. That I think Nino was talking about earlier. Captain Morgan is probably the first authoritative figure from the Marines that we ever see in the story.
Mhm.
He's an asshole. He's terrible. He's treating those people on that island in gruesome conditions. His son is conceited and selfish, and he's going around bossing people saying, well, if you don't let me do this, daddy's gonna come over and chop your, I don't know, head, your hand, whatever he does with that axe. He's gonna cut things off. But I think that was perfect because it was a great representation showing that Luffy wants to be a pirate. Usually the default image of a pirate is, so they're villainous. They plunder towns, they rob people. But here you have someone that's working for the government, the police in this world, and he's terrible.
Mhm.
I don't know. I thought it was poetic.
It is poetic. Looking back at it, you can appreciate the groundwork of showing anybody is corruptible. B, the seeds of power that are in place can already be corrupted. And, you know, yeah, piracy is always looked at as a negative thing, but I don't know. Piracy is basically, I think One Piece does a great job of just establishing piracy is freedom, and it's what you do with that freedom. You know,
but what do you call it? True piracy. You know what I mean? Like, because Luffy is trying to fight, because the first two villains are a pirate in Alvida, and then Captain Morgan. So it's basically saying like, I don't know who said it just now, but anybody and everybody can get the Gomu Gomu pistol.
I would say like they do it, like One Piece keeps that theme of you're always trying to figure out like, wow, who's actually like the good guys sometimes, because sometimes things happen and you know you're like, wait, because Colby is a big example. When we do see him again, we're like, wait, so I don't know if I should love him or not. Like he's not gonna change. Like he's a Marine, so it's like, what do you do? How do we
I'm sorry. Sorry.
That edit is perfect. I love that. Literally. That was 4Kids era, straight up spring pistols and corkscrew guns.
Right.
Beautiful.
But Kame Chris, you were making a good point. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But it's like with like Colby, it's just kind of it's like they keep reminding you. It's like we get stuck into like the pirate versus pirate or pirate versus Marine, but we always forget, and they bring it up every once in a while, that there is a middle ground that's not the Revolution Army, that like we have no idea where this is going to go. Like at least I don't know where they're going to go with this true piracy thing. Like I don't know exactly how Kobe's gonna like quit the Marines, if that's gonna be a thing. I don't know how Garp is gonna handle, you know, like Luffy, you know, like I just don't know. And then like you go back to these early episodes and it really confuses you more, because you're like, man, this like they made this theme so apparent back then that now we're like still stuck with it, and I still can't get a real answer of, are we going to all be Revolutionary Army, all pirates? Like what is really going to occur? Especially when we get like I think like Zoro, like him being a bounty hunter too. Like when we get there, it's like okay, so who exactly? Like there's so many realms, and you know, just the funky characters and stuff. It's like the funky characters just threw me off early episodes, but it's like that theme that keeps going with the piracy. You're like, it's just like the undertones that Oda does from day one, just like kind of blows your mind, I guess, of wow, like I can't get past like the devil fruits, and we have the longest elbow alive, but like the tone of it all is like, it's like kind of like deep. It's very deep, and then it goes back to like Nino, you know, like the reason why he started watching this. So like it really like blows my mind how like just the whole theme of like just keep bringing back like Colby and like these certain characters that make us like, okay, all right, what are they gonna do now? Are they Luffy's friend or what?
Yeah, and that's why I said that like Colby is kind of like the second main character in this story, because we get his arc is kind of the most easiest to see throughout the, like, besides Luffy, his is like the most easiest to see arc. And when he does pop up again, it's funny how much his second interaction, or like not second, but like his second huge big moment. No, wait, that's like his third time that we see him. The big moment that he has near the center of the story, how it mirrors the second chapter when he stands up to Alvida.
Oh,
where he says,
right.
He has that moment. He's like, I have no regrets now. And you just see those wordings when he has that big moment near the middle of the story, and it's kind of like, oh, maybe Kobe is supposed. If Luffy is everything that a pirate should be, then maybe Kobe's everything that a Marine should be. And it's funny how
it sort of rhymes. It's like poetry.
No, it is poetry, because you think about too, at the end of this arc, and I know we're gonna come back because we forgot there's one more major thing we gotta talk about with this arc. But you know, the driving point that allowed Colby to become a Marine was, you know, Luffy had to beat the crap out of Colby, you know. to disaffiliate. And there's something poetic about, taking that aspect of how they're friends, but they have to be enemies. But then, like we've been saying, this gray line that can appear anywhere. And like Nino just said, in the middle of the story and of course we'll get there, come down the line. That scene is very beautiful in the sense of, the gray line is not as thin as it could be viewed upon. You just need, maybe Kobe is the ideal Marine and somewhere that got lost. And Kobe is trying to bring that back. So maybe the story is just really trying to reach this middle ground for all these people to, live comfortably without this crazy, grab for power and whatnot. Because that's really what it is. As far as the bigger players at hand.
Right.
Who's the most powerful? Yeah.
We're talking about lines between government or what do you call it, Marines and pirates. What are you, Punk Hazard? That one scene from Punk Hazard.
Stop.
I can't wait to be like, I said this joke and now I will bring it back.
Sure, you got some ways to go, but
we got a couple arcs in between. But I mean, obviously one of probably the biggest iconic moment was in this arc would be the recruitment of Zoro, Roronoa Zoro. And I love, Oda. I always read these early chapters again thinking like, wow, Oda's really a genius when you think about it. He's a poet. He's a poet. And the reason why I say that is because this is the first person that Luffy brings onto his crew. Oda could have easily, when you think about the most generic way you could have done a story like this, Oda could have easily have done some cheesiness where Luffy goes into like a bar on the island and there's some grungy looking sniveling pirate in the corner flipping a coin saying, "Hey kid, you need a new pirate crew member." He could have easily done that. So generic, so cheesy. Like someone, that person wants to be part of a pirate crew. Let me bring him on. Luffy's first shipmate is someone that hunts and kills pirates and turns them in for bounties. I think it's amazing. Luffy doesn't care about that. He's like, I don't care what your deal is. I don't care what your game is. You use swords and that's cool. Do you want to be part of my crew? And he's carried that attitude even until now. He always does that. If he gets along with them and or if they seem really cool, he invites them on the ship.
He's a kid. He hears about a pirate hunter. Again, I think it's that line of what is defined as piracy. I think Luffy saw the words pirate hunter and he can't be talking about me.
Why would he want to kill me?
I just want to be king of the pirates, right?
And it's funny because when Luffy brings it up to Zoro, or maybe was it Kobe that brings it up to Zoro? Zoro answers like, I don't ever remember calling myself a bounty hunter. I just did it for money.
No, you're right. Yeah,
right. I think he was tied. I think he was like on the log or whatever he was.
Yeah, he was tied up on the post. Yeah. That
conversation.
I mean, you really got to see the characterization with a lot of these people because I don't remember the character's name, but it was like the little girl with the
right. There was a little girl who was keeping him alive. Yeah,
with the onigiri.
The who?
The onigiri.
Yeah, he did. Oh, is that where the move got its name from?
Yes, that's where the move came from. What do you think he was just naming it after food because he likes food?
No,
I didn't know she was feeding him that. No, I did not know. I didn't know it was named onigiri. I only just recently learned that's a food name.
I'm sorry, Ethan. I'll Americanize what I just said. She fed him a jelly donut.
All right, I just didn't know
jelly
it was called
donut.
I thought it meant like one. I don't know. Just beautiful. No, beautiful, right?
It was poetry. It rhymed. I agree. It was great. You saw character from both Luffy and Zoro in like what? This was like 3 chapters. if
3
even.
chapters, maybe 7. Yeah, 1 through 7, give or take. Yeah.
Like Zoro has this tough exterior, but he's got a heart of gold. He ate that onigiri off the floor, dirt covered in mud, stomped on by Helmeppo. Damn you, Helmeppo. And he just ate it. And he said it was delicious because the girl made those rice balls for him.
And you see that in other later chapters, which we'll get to.
You do. It carries. It carries. Oda's great. Oda's great, even in Captain Morgan. And he gets better.
Yeah, he just keeps getting better. Yeah.
He just keeps getting better. So we get like the duo back-to-back fight with Captain Morgan, and I think Helmeppo comes in as well on this fight, but he gets taken care of.
Yeah, it's not much of a fight, right?
Right. But from there, Zoro joins the crew, and as Grandmaster said earlier, we get that one scene with Luffy beating up Kobe so that he can disassociate himself from Kobe so he can be part of the Marines. And I like that Luffy did it that way, because any other like protagonist would have done it where they just sat down and talked and tried to explain things and, you know, use logistics
Naruto?
to it. Like Naruto.
What, talk no jutsu?
He would have talked no jutsu the Marines and say, why won't you guys take him? He is not on our side.
Haku live for you.
Not another word, kid.
Your words cut deep, kid.
He doesn't do that. He just starts wailing on his ass.
That is another great thing about Luffy. As naive as he appears, he does have some sense of, you know, the going-ons of the world and what needs to be done or what's the best way to do it. And he's definitely Luffy's established. Yeah, he's really kind of fist first, talk later kind of guy, you know.
He said anyone.
Yeah, he gives like that Goku, like, I have no idea what's going on. I just want to fight and be a pirate. Like, and Luffy's like, I just want to be a pirate. But in the end, like, he peeps everything. It feels like when it's serious because he's seriously paying attention.
And you know, it's really interesting that you bring that connection to Dragon Ball, because Oda like was really inspired. Like it's really interesting to see like how different people were inspired by Dragon Ball, this big monumental series that lasted for, you know, multiple things. Because then you had like the clones like Yu Yu Hakusho, which was, you know, they focused so much on the fighting and not so much on what made the original Dragon Ball and eventually what continues to make Dragon Ball interesting. That's the world building. Like Oda wanted to, and I think Oda and whoever, Kishimoto, when they made this series, they're like, oh, we want a young protagonist that can grow up, and then the world grows around them as they grow up. And I think Oda really does it well. But those comparisons to Goku and to humor you, Kame Chris, and to Goku's namesake get interesting as the story go on. Sun Wukong. It gets interesting. Gets interesting.
Oh,
it does, right.
Kong.
I think the name.
He's a monkey.
I think the name
He's
is.
a
I think the relation's supposed to be to Wukong.
Wukong.
Not necessarily Goku. I think the inspiration that we see with a lot of main character shonens by the anime isn't exactly like Dragon Ball Z, because the main character is really supposed to be like the Monkey King, really.
Right.
Like when you know Journey to the West, literally can't unsee it, you know.
It's true.
Monkey D. Luffy. Yeah.
Monkey D. Luffy.
Never unsee any of this stuff.
At this point, I feel like, what do you call it? And this is no knock to any mangaka out there, but they're just like, we're having such a hard time getting a main character. Why don't we just make Sun Wukong again?
Enough.
It works. The formula
It works every time.
Oh my god.
It never fails. But so what? Captain Morgan arc, you know, gets resolved. We get Zoro coming in with Luffy, and I like how they and again, this is like baby foreshadowing, right? Like we know how much Oda foreshadows like hundreds and hundreds of chapters later, but Oda, I like how when Zoro and Luffy are in the dinghy, they get lost at sea. And I forgot which character it was, but one of them says, "Do you even know where you're going?" and the other one says, "No." What do you mean? And they're like, "Well, I'm not a navigator, so we're lost.
Go get one.
We should probably get one."
And it's just, are you talking about how they are literally the most absent-minded when it comes with directions in the series moving
easily.
forward?
Easily.
Right.
Oh, it's Zoro especially. Zoro especially.
They're both bad.
They're both Luffy is, but like
Luffy
Zoro
ends up where Luffy ends up where he's supposed to. Zoro never ends up where he's supposed to.
You tell Zoro go left, he will purposely, as if he has some malicious intent to disobey you, he'll turn right. He won't go left, he'll turn right.
Northeast.
Oh my god.
If he set up that joke from that chapter, I will give him mad props. Like
I bet he did.
He did.
Like
if Oda did it, he did. And if he didn't do it, he still did it. That's the reason.
And it's perfect because that segues us into the next arc, which is Orange Town. And I feel like this is the first arc where we really get a pirate villain, but like more so a villain in general, with Buggy the Clown, because we really get to see how evil and how the world views pirates for now. We obviously see way more evilness down the line, but for now, in terms of us really establishing how the world typically views pirates, Orange Town is a great arc to start with. And I think it's perfect. We meet Nami, we meet Buggy the Clown, and they're some of the best characters in the story. Of course, Nino, Buggy D Clown.
Buggy D Clown. Yeah,
Buggy D Clown.
I'm a legend.
What did you guys think of this arc in general? Did you like the dynamic between like Luffy, Nami, Zoro? Did you like introduction of Buggy? Overall, like what did you guys think of Orange Town?
I love this little this was really the formula. Like Oda was really setting up the formula of how One Piece fights were gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
You had the fighting. Luffy and Zoro seem to be outmatched, and then you have an emotional moment with a flashback, and they beat the villain. And it sets up the formula, but it's such a good formula because the fights themselves differ so much. Like I was watching, they were like, they made Buggy because they said, Luffy's impervious to guns. So what if someone was impervious to swords?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, interesting.
No, it really is, because it's showing that just because we got a badass swordsman on the team, therefore he could handle practically anyone he encounters. First arc, he has a major villain to go against after Captain Morgan. Bam, can't hurt him. Can't do it. Chop fruit. What are you gonna do? Unless you got hockey. But
what?
No, hockey ain't gonna do nothing against chop fruit.
Hockey? Yes, it will.
You think hockey can what? You can slice them and it still hurts?
Okay, wait.
Yes.
Actually, someone actually was talking about this.
We should not get into this yet.
We should not get into this.
Hockey's not introduced yet.
Yeah.
We will double back to this.
We will
double back to this. We will write it down. We'll write it down. Chop fruit versus hockey. We will come back to this. I think with the chop fruit itself, though, too, this is our second viewing of a devil fruit, right?
Yes, because first was gum fruit. This is our first. Yeah, this is our second viewing. And
funny enough, they're both paramecia type.
Whoa.
Well,
you know what? That's for later.
Yes, stop
for
it, Jesus.
Paramecia. You're right.
Foreshadow.
They are both paramecia.
That's annoying.
Users.
That's gonna happen a bunch. Yes, they're both paramecia type. So it's setting. The devil fruits themselves are like the kind of like the anime equivalent to, like, you know, chakra, the different kinds of chakra, the different types of ki energy, spirit energy.
That's hot. Whatever.
Yeah,
That's fine.
literally. Devil fruits are so unique to One Piece that
Yeah.
I think a One Piece would be completely unrecognizable without devil fruits.
Well, I think the devil fruits out of everything has done it the best, I think.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, like you see it in other series, like My Hero with the quirks. Each person's unique in their own way. Back when it was still a thing, Bleach, each character had their own like sword that had its own abilities. So it's there, but I do agree. I think One Piece, Oda has such a fantastical way of
Nen with Hunter x Hunter.
Nen, yeah.
Right, Nen with Hunter x Hunter.
Nen probably does it like the best, but devil fruits
Right.
are
Truth.
yeah, but devil fruits are just so different because they're not innate to the user. Like anyone can eat a
Right.
devil fruit.
Right.
You know what I
You just
mean?
gotta find one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta find one. You better hope it's the one you want, not like a
You know,
giraffe or
Oh,
something.
we just I was gonna say, like, we just learned that devil fruits mean nothing. Absolutely. I mean, we always knew that, but I'm jumping. That's
You're
dialogue
jumping.
we just
You're
that's
jumping.
dialogue we just got. Actually, let me relax.
either way, it's funny because, you know, early on they established that devil fruits are supposed to be these rare things in the world of One Piece that, like, you know, you're likely never gonna see one, but as the story goes on, you realize almost everyone has a devil fruit.
Well, there's just a devil fruit for everything, like
For
imaginable. Like if you can think it up, there's a devil fruit for it.
And it's genius because from there, Oda set a standard early on where he's not limited by anything. A devil
Right.
fruit can be about. There's a One Piece movie, jumping ahead, where the devil fruit is luck. It gives you an insane amount of luck. That's the fruit. That's the fruit power. What? What is that? Okay, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But again, I like the introduction of the chop fruit with Buggy.
To expand on that, I just thought about it.
What, the luck fruit?
No, the chop fruit.
Yeah.
So the first two fruits we got, first one being the most important and having probably the most important, most dramatic defense to that, and that's Shanks getting his arm chopped off. And like, I guess when you really think about it and think about now, like, oh my God, like that significance of Shanks doing that for Luffy, like, that's a huge deal for Shanks to just let his arm get cut off by Luffy. That could have happened before. If I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like,
I see what you're putting down.
Yeah.
However, Shanks can't swim if he takes the chop fruit.
No, not that. No. So listen. So I'm just saying, like, since we saw the first most important, I mean, I could be memeing this, but like, would Buggy be like the second most important because of his role in that the biggest pirate crew we've seen? Like, you know, like he wouldn't be there for no reason.
Okay.
So
right.
I mean, I'm just like getting to
So you think the chop fruit at some point is gonna be something ridiculous in the future?
Yes.
I mean, who knows?
Possible.
I think
who knows what it could
just
awaken?
Yeah, it's just so weird. Like now looking back on it, like, do we really want to mention like some spoiler-ish things for that? Because it's relevant when you're reading through the chapter and you're caught up and you're like, wait a minute, hold up. Now that we know what we know, like one thing that stuck out to me was Shanks got the Gomu Gomu no Mi from an enemy ship.
Yeah, right.
They tie it back in.
There's a couple enemies that we know Shanks went up against before, but what do you call it? There's only one that we know for sure. And it just happens to be after, you know, the 3 marks on his face.
Ooh.
And what other devil fruit looks like Luffy's?
Okay, listen. Let's
I'm trying to
stay focused on. the current
You're
arc
you're
because
missing. I'm giving
Orange
such
Town,
good
Orange.
Orange Town. You're losing me. You're losing
A
me.
buggy bomb. That's what I'm trying to get to.
The
A
Buggy
buggy
Bomb.
ball. Buggy. How did you just get back to buggy? Whatever.
I'm not. I'm moving on.
Okay,
because y'all
buggy
didn't get
balls.
what I had to say.
Oh,
He bombed it, like Buggy bombed.
The
that
Buggy
Got-
Bomb.
Okay, buggy bomb. I mean, if we're talking about buggy bombs, yes, Buggy is a bad pirate. He is the worldly view of what pirates can do. Again, not the worst we've seen, but he's bad. He's taken over this town.
And he's been a joke the entire time. I feel like he's not going to be a joke at the end of all this. Like he's probably
Buggy?
going to have like a
Buggy?
huge significance. Like
I mean,
we're gonna
Buggy
see
has one of the greatest come ups so far. In the
literally,
series.
literally
By doing
from day
nothing.
one, from when
Have
he
some
was a kid.
spines. While I
Listen,
escape.
early on, what was great about this is that I feel like it established a solid rivalry between Luffy and Buggy. Because we didn't know what, because like if we're judging based on how Luffy handled the first couple villains, he just one-shotted them essentially, and then he's over and done with them. Likely never gonna see them again. Alvida's a different story, but we're not there yet. But with Buggy, I feel like they established really early on, like, hey, this guy, we're gonna see him again. To have this back and forth between Luffy. And Oda does this a couple times with other characters too. I won't mention them yet. We are going to mention them once we get to them. But Oda tries to do rivalries between Luffy and one other character. I feel like Buggy has been the most consistent. And that's because of how great he was in this arc. He was evil, almost no redeeming qualities, but he was hilarious, because if you made fun of his big red nose, he would not have any of that. And it's hilarious because it's like, that's his nose. It's not like a prop he puts up. It's his nose.
I forgot that was his actual nose, actually. So
Yeah.
It's insane.
no, definitely hilarious.
Buggy's also one of the best designed characters in One Piece. Like, just like looking at his character model, you're like, damn, that's a nice character. You know, he has a theme. He has like the 3 knives, and he has like the striped shirt and the
clown.
He's a clown.
He's a clown.
Blue hair.
Funny.
Yeah. No, it's definitely funny. And then
is.
he's got his whole crew is circus themed.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right. And we talk about establishing, kind of the One Piece formula with the fights. Everyone had their person to go up against. Not really Nami. Nami didn't really fight. She did tie up Buggy's parts. That was good. But Zoro, Luffy had double duty. He had to fight Buggy, and he had to fight the lion tamer. Well, he had to fight the lion.
Right.
He had to knock out the lion. But Zoro had the cool fight against the other swordsman who was on the unicycle.
Right.
How convenient that the other crew has a swordsman, so that, and it gets more ridiculous. This trope gets more ridiculous as the series goes on, like that. So conveniently on the enemy group, they have a swordsman, so that Zoro can be like, I bested you. Now I'm the better swordsman.
Yeah, it's a trope.
They're supposed to.
They're supposed
that's
to.
That's why Luffy wanted those specific people, because those specific people are usually in a pirate crew. So that's why it's always ironic when they see someone. Oh, they have a fighter that also could fight Sanji. Oh, they have a swordsman just for Zoro. Is that an
one
animal on that
specializes
ship?
in kicks.
Well, see, with all that said, it's fun to kind of try to match up who's gonna fight who when they establish, who's the opposing force, who,
and
that's fun.
And the thing is, we didn't really touch on it too much, but like, even in the scenario where it's like, oh, it's just another swordsman versus another swordsman, Zoro's sword style is very unique. He has 3, and it makes no sense how he's talking in full sentences with that blade grip in his mouth. I'm sure we've all tried it. We're like, how does he talk? And you put something in your mouth and you're like, I can't say a word.
I've tried it. I can't.
It's impossible.
Your jaw strength also has to be impeccable to hold up. There's no way those katanas are so light that
No, but I actually read something about that. Oda confirmed that when Zoro puts the blades in or the sword in his mouth, that it hurts him. Like it physically hurts him to keep it there.
His teeth are probably grinded like really badly.
They
probably
seen a dentist
are.
yet, so for sure.
Oh yeah, no dentist. Yeah, definitely.
And to
not.
think he only did this because he couldn't beat his childhood friend, who I think is dead. I don't know.
And I think I don't even remember if that's covered in Romance Dawn, but that might.
No, it is.
It is. Or I thought that was
It-
right before Barati.
No, they cover Zoro's backstory and Captain Morgan. It was
Okay.
very quick.
Uh-huh.
Nothing too memorable, but you never know because Oda likes bringing up old stuff and saying, "Remember this." Yeah, one thing that I think was really good in this arc, Orange Town, was Nami, because Nami has a very clear disdain for pirates, and she challenges the notion of Luffy wanting to be a pirate. And I feel like it goes back, I don't remember who said it earlier, but it goes back to what Luffy's definition of a pirate is. He has to show Nami in this arc he's not trying to be another Buggy the Clown, and he sure as hell is not trying to be a Marine. He just wants to be free, and that's his definition of a pirate, and he's not gonna let anyone change it. And Nami sees that because she was willing to turn him in and potentially kill him by giving him up to Buggy.
She was really annoying in these beginning parts. Like she was I did not care for Nami. Here she was annoying, and then we get to she gets Arlong comes around, and she's even more annoying.
Now,
like,
hold the phone.
Wait a minute.
She was very quiet. Like she kept like denying Luffy friendship, and that kept pissing me off because I'm like, just accept him already.
Once we get to Arlong.
I'm just saying, I think, yeah, you could call her annoying here, maybe. But did you not rethink that after Arlong? I don't want to get too much into Arlong. After, right.
Yes, but
right.
During, I was very like, dude, if you don't just be his friend, he's not going to leave you alone. Like, it felt the same with Robin, too, but that's like one of my favorite, but we won't go there. But
I can get it. Like,
I'm just saying, you know, like when you're a kid and you get frustrated at like a TV show, you're like, come on, be his friend. Like that was me with Nami.
But that's how it keeps you. But that's how it keeps you entertained. Like Oda is really trying to like make you feel something, so that when you finally get to the end, you're like, we finally are here. Like
that is why.
And I think. I think with crew members, like there's this, they set up the formula very early on, at least with the first, or really all of East Blue, where, Zoro doesn't want to join Luffy, at the beginning, because he's like, I don't really need you. Luffy proves that like, hey, I'm worth my stuff. And Zoro's like, guess I'm, and Zoro didn't want to be, because he's like, I'm not going to be second fiddle to anybody.
I want to be the greatest swordsman.
Foreshadowing of something that happened. But
yes.
And then Nami hates pirates. We have to get through Nami hating pirates. And then what do you call it? And do we want to even segue into Usopp and
we can segue.
Now?
I think we're good here, right? Nami joins as the navigator, problem solved.
Temporarily.
They have a means of knowing where they're going, at least. Right. So yeah, they make it to Syrup Village.
Actually, wait. Before Syrup Village,
sure,
there is one island they make a pit stop on. It's not an arc, but it's like maybe an episode. It's that island where they meet that guy that's stuck in the treasure chest.
Skip it.
Oh my god, I
think his name is Galman.
It's important until it isn't.
It is. You're right. He's gonna appear at the last chapter. He's gonna be like, "Oh no, we should have mentioned him."
No,
I have the One
right
Piece
now, and let's go.
Yeah, I have the One Piece.
The One Piece was inside this box the whole time.
So that's what they were laughing at when they got to Raftel.
They saw Galman. They're like,
what they saw.
A man stuck in a box. What is this?
This is what we've been traveling the Grand Line for.
I should just stay home.
Watch.
No, absolutely not. No.
But last an episode over and done with. We get into Syrup Village. Oda's take on the boy that cried wolf. I think it's perfect.
Boy
right?
Crow. Oh, okay. Yeah, boy.
Oh yeah, no,
I
it
was
is.
gonna say Pinocchio, but yes, boy.
I mean,
Cried
the
Wolf.
character is
it's-
Pinocchio.
How about a conglomerate of storybook liars?
Yes, I agree.
It's
Yeah.
funny because has Usopp lied?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he
No,
has.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
well, is it lying if they come true later?
A clock is right
it's-
twice a day. That's
Usopp has been right. Usopp has been right, and this is Usopp has been right from the very beginning about every single thing he says. When we meet him, he's like, "Let me tell you these stories," and then they just so happen to go on these stories in what do you call it in
Well,
in the
that's-
future.
well,
But that's the boy who cried wolf. Eventually, a wolf came, and nobody believed him. You know?
he kept
So-
lying that there were pirates every morning. Eventually, pirates came.
and nobody believed him. Right.
Was that because of his dad?
Yo,
What,
was
the
he-
pi-
maybe-
oh,
was he
lying?
looking for his dad? Like,
Wait, are you
was-
saying he was lying because of his dad?
no, like maybe it was like out of like no, I'm not saying he's lying because of his dad, but maybe that was maybe they didn't get into it, but maybe that was like a way of like because he knew his dad was a pirate.
Oh,
like-
got it.
He's like, oh, there's pirates. They're like, you know, like, oh my
It
dad,
must be my dad.
my dad.
Oh, it could be a coping. I mean, he left on good terms. No, Yasop.
They never really confirmed
He-
what
he let-
Get
he
into
let-
it.
just
We're gonna
left.
get into it though. I have a feeling.
Well, okay, right.
Bath.
This is
Yeah.
one of the few times we get Oda tying back something that's happening right now in the story to something in the past, specifically with Shanks's crew. We learn that this character Usopp that is crying wolf the entire time is indeed the son of Yasop, another member of Shanks's crew, who happens to also be a sharpshooter. And Luffy remembers him very fondly, along with other Shanks's crew members.
Yasop was more of a father to Luffy than he was his own son.
Oh,
I really want to emphasize this.
We don't know that truth.
We don't
know
we
that.
don't
We
know
don't
how-
know why.
We don't know how
Yeah.
deep that statement goes, but was Yasop prominent enough for Luffy to remember him and be able to recognize his son? You know? Yeah, I guess so. So
That's more than Usopp doesn't even know what his father looks like.
Actually, yeah, he doesn't. He thinks his
Oh,
dad probably
God.
has a long nose
More
like
of father confirmed. I'm sorry. Dad of the year right there.
That's funny. I like how his
Yes.
mom also has the nose. I don't know. It's
the
just,
mom
it's
has the
funny.
nose, the dad has the sunken face.
Yeah. The rest of the face. It's funny.
Now he's
Um,
got dreads that confirms the right the
Dreads that are
African-based
blonde?
heritage. I don't know.
Wait,
Eh,
Yasop
don't
does?
get too
Oh,
deep into
wait,
it.
Yasop?
Yeah.
He has
Yasop's
dreads
are
now?
he has dreads
Yeah.
now, yeah. They're like
Oh.
a dirty blonde, yeah.
Oh God, I gotta look him up again. I'm
Oh,
still
yeah, man.
remembering him from part one. Like
Shanks's
like,
crew
the
had a
flashback.
glow up. Shanks's crew had a glow up.
Even the big guy that's always
Look,
eating meat.
he's still pretty big, but like
Oh,
Okay,
he's bigger now. He's bigger
yeah, he's
than
like
big
bigger
now.
now, right?
when
that's the glow up. He's bigger.
we see him again, he's like twice as Shanks. Before he was like barely meeting Shanks, and
Are these,
I
like,
only
new
know this.
release pictures or something from
No,
Red?
this you can look at the big guy from when we see Shanks again in the middle of the story. But he's a lot bigger than Shanks, and I only point that out because he was the one who shot that guy.
I was
in
gonna
Roman
say
Dark.
that.
Yeah, and
he
he's
was
like he kept eating meat.
it was one of those few moments where you saw a visible casualty in One Piece where this dude
Oh
just
my
shot
gosh,
him in
yes.
the head. Just
Oh,
shot him in
yes,
the
he
head.
did.
point
Yes,
blank.
he did. Right. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Brutality.
That was really brutal early on. Yeah.
It was. I thought that was gonna be the rest of the tone. Now people just get punched to death mostly, or punched into oblivion. But
Yeah.
it was brutal. Lucky is a
Super
son of a
dragon
gun,
fisted.
and there's Beckham too. There's
Beckham. Well, Beckham, he just uses the blunt end of the gun. He uses the handle to fight.
because that's just 2% of his power.
No, I'm pretty sure that's all he does. He just uses
There-
the.
He's the first mate of Shanks's crew, so that
Yeah.
means he's on the equal grounds of Zoro at least.
I'm just saying that's how he
Minimum.
doesn't turn the gun around and shoot it. He only fights with the blunt end.
He's gonna shoot it.
We have not seen any of what do you call it, of Shank's crew fighting.
Oh, I guess you didn't play.
We're going to.
You didn't play One Piece Grand Battle on GameCube. Oh,
Ew, that game was terrible.
Ben
So-
Beckham was an assist character, and that's how he fought with the blunt end.
Is it
Oh.
canon? Is it canon? That's all I
canon.
have.
Did Oda
It's-
write
It's
One Piece
canon.
Grand
It's
Battle?
canon. That's
Yes,
so
he
bullshit.
did.
Well,
That's
we'll get
some
red. I think we'll see some
bullshit.
Shanks crew motion in red.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
right. You're
Yeah,
right.
we're
Will
gonna
we,
get it.
or will we just see Shanks continuing the tradition of ancient fathers in the story?
He already
Listen.
ain't shit. Hello, he left.
We are getting sidetracked.
Yeah, we're getting sidetracked. dude.
Sarah Village. I know we like talking about deadbeat dads because of
it
Yasa.
relates. It relates to Shanks. All of this relates to Shanks.
Yes, Usopp's village. Sarah Village is the first foreshadow to Raftel and Shanks. But Usopp, again, Oda being genius with the type of characters that he has recruiting onto Luffy's team. This is the first person where you look at and there's not a single damn thing at first glance where you're like, Luffy wants to bring this guy on the crew? Why? He's got a swordsman that could put a sword in his mouth. He's got a navigator that could guide them on the ocean. What is Usopp doing? But then as the arc goes on, you realize, hey, Usopp's kind of got a little bit of a Batman kit in him with his sharpshooting thing. He's got like little pellets that do fire,
He's got cow traps.
cow traps.
The rotten egg. Did he use the rotten egg here?
No,
I know he
think
does it in
uses
Arlong.
Yeah,
I don't know if he uses
does.
it yet.
I guess if anything, it just hints at Usopp is more brain versus brawn,
Yes.
despite his cowardness. You know, everybody else so far in the Straw Hat crew has shown somewhat courage in the face of adversity, and Usopp, you know, runs away first, and then he has to
Coward.
dig down and, you know, find that bravery and courage in him. But it's I think you know, when you look at a guy like Usopp, Usopp is probably like quote unquote the realest of characters. He's really grounded in realism, and like if we were in
that
the world
nose
of
really
One
speaks
Piece,
realism right there.
what say what?
That
His
nose
nose.
really speaks of realism.
Okay, I'm not talking about depiction. I'm talking about like characteristics.
Character.
Like
Got
he's
it.
not freaking stretching halfway across the island. He's not carrying 3 swords, you know. And I guess Nami, you throw Nami into that too. And he definitely addresses this later on in the series. Usopp is weak.
Ooh, yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
Usopp is weak, and he's got to use brain over everything. And what's the word?
Ingenuity.
Ingenuity. He uses that, and I think that's the best part about Usopp. He brings that to a crew who doesn't really use ingenuity.
It also is like, I guess it's kind of like the Krillin effect, where you need someone who is kind of at the level of the audience, to understand that like all these people that we're seeing, that we're following, are really greater than the average human, you know.
Mhm.
And you know, one thing that we do say about Usopp, yes, he's weak, but as time will tell, Usopp can take a beating, probably more so than anybody else on the team.
Yes, he can take it.
Miraculously healing rate too.
Like I
Um,
always thought that so you know how when we got in Dragon Ball Super, when the one dude that Frieza was training with was like, oh, like I'm Super Saiyan level, and
Yes.
like that never happens to Usopp. Like you think he gets smacked in the face with hockey one or two many times, or like a strong punch, and now he's like, I'm indestructible. No.
Well, wait
Oh.
until a certain person gets up from his dirt nap. watch God D Usopp will rise. I'm telling you.
Oh Jesus!
Say God D
Stop.
Usopp.
God D
Yeah.
Usopp's gonna have
Oh,
a D
no.
in his name.
No.
Funny enough, Nino mentioned the Krillin effect. The English dub of One Piece, Sonny Strait, who voices Krillin, also voices Usopp.
Usopp.
It's
Yeah.
genius, really, and it works. Like the guys, it's perfect. I hear Usopp in English, I hear Krillin.
I
It's
low-key
perfect.
want to say Oda handpicked that to happen because I know for a fact Oda handpicked Chris Sabat to do Zoro. He
did?
He did. He didn't
Oh,
want
I didn't
any.
know that.
Yes, that is a true fact. He handpicked Sabat and said he didn't want anyone else to do Zoro. So
I wouldn't have any other way. He's the
No,
perfect
I think it's
Zoro.
perfect as well. Yeah.
Luffy,
And yeah.
on the other hand,
Oof.
I have some
Luffy's such a
suggestions.
tough one. Luffy's such a tough voice actor to get right because of the
Yeah.
character. But back to Syrup Village,
Back
we
to
get
Syrup
we
Village.
Back.
get some really interesting villain work because now we see the cat guy and this
Captain
whole plot with
Kuro.
Or
Yeah.
what's his fake name? Clahador. That's
something
his
like that.
butler name as he was posing as the
Oh,
butler.
Klahadore, yeah.
Klahadore.
And
Hello.
I think
Claw in the name.
to tie back to the question, Dr. Jace, that you asked in the beginning, when did we know that we were hooked onto One Piece?
Don't say Syrup Village.
It was Syrup Village. It really
That's
was.
a fair point. That's
I mean, it's fine. Yeah, no.
Because
it
when
is.
I was going through it, because like the first couple arcs are like Captain Morgan and Alvida and Romance Dawn go by so quickly that I
Yeah.
couldn't get my feet, But and then Orange Town happens, and Orange Town is fun, but I didn't know what the story had in store. It was very straightforward. But Syrup Village is the first time we get some real drama in this story.
It
You
does.
had the idea of classism really being introduced and like hammered home because Usopp is like seen as like a beggar in the street, and he's in love with somebody who's of higher class, of noble birth, and she doesn't even know. And it's funny because she doesn't even know what she wants to do with life, and Usopp is the only thing that like entertains her. But then she goes on to become like she wants to become a doctor by the time Usopp gets ready to leave, and it was really just interesting. Like the battle, like I feel like you see a lot of like One Piece standards in this arc. Zoro was like, "Oh, go northeast or whatever, go to that place."
Oh
of the
yeah, they
island."
got lost. I remember.
And they got lost, and there was just some drama, like betrayal, and what do you call it? There was like anticipation because Usopp and Luffy overhear Captain Kuro's plan, and then you as a reader, you're like, oh shit, what did they get themselves into?
Yeah, the stakes are kind of higher a bit.
Yeah.
Buggy was a clown.
Yeah. This is the arc that really like sold me to keep going.
I can see why, because like even though I liked Buggy's arc, it's kind of like what you said. Buggy was a clown at the end of the day. He had like a joke side to him, aside from also being villainous. But with Captain Kuro, there were no jokes with him. He was there to commit to a goal. He wanted to kill Kaya, I think her name was.
Kaya, yep.
Steal the Baudelaire fortune from.
That's a good way to look at it, yeah.
Right. He wants to steal that, and he's not letting anyone get in his way. And this guy, didn't he kill her parents, I think? Didn't he?
I think so.
Like poison them or something so he could, I don't know, it was something like that. But very intimidating. Plus, he also did that cool thing where like because his claws, I guess, were on his fingertips.
Yeah,
he had to push his glasses up with his hands. I don't know. I thought that was cool.
It was very actually, you know what? I'm gonna refrain from that. It was very it gave. It yeah, the hands, like,
I know what you're saying. I know
very
what you're saying.
it gave. But like
Finesse style.
Yeah, he ate that. Yeah.
It was good. It was good. And he was, his kit in terms of like how he fought was really cool. He had speed on his side, and we didn't really touch on it too much. I liked up until this point, I like seeing the creative ways that Luffy would use his powers, because Luffy can stretch, and it's not really the typical main character power gimmick you would see in other shonen series. Like usually the author will give their main character something crazy like fire, or I can blow. Stop. No. We'll
get into it. We'll get into it. You are so on point.
Oh
with
my
that.
God.
Properties of rubber fueled by or limited by the imagination of the user.
Yes.
Leave
rubber.
it. That's it.
It's
That's
not
it.
typical. It's not
That's
a typical thing that you would give someone. So you see Luffy getting creative in all these arcs, and you're wondering, what's the next thing he's gonna do? Well, he did Gomu Gomu no pistol. He did Gatling already. He did balloon. What's next? Bell. Boom. Headbutt him straight in the face.
Yeah, but he stretched pretty far back. Like,
That's a concussion. That's like, and you know what? It's some of these moves. This is why I kind of like One Piece, especially in the manga. Oda does a good job drawing this. These attacks look insanely brutal, to the point where I refuse to believe there is not some permanent damage to some of these characters after these fights. Luffy's fine. I'm talking about Kuro.
Oh,
He's not made of rubber. He got a God. Grandmaster said it himself. He flung his head back. What?
all the way back up that hill. He said it back up the hill. Yeah.
Bang, straight on. Homie got unconscious. That is a concussion, brain damage, permanent brain damage. Like, I'm sorry. You know what? Maybe that's why we never seen that character again. For now.
I mean, there's a couple of East Blue characters we don't see.
He's gonna
Or
show
haven't
up in
seen.
Elbaf. Looking for
Yeah.
the world's government.
Here we go.
Gotta do the cat dance, whatever he. I forgot.
Oh,
what he
out
called
to
it.
the bag attack.
Out of the. Oh God, I hated
Yo,
that.
I used to mimic it. I used to be like standing like
Ew.
to the back. It's too soft. For our listening viewers, check that out on YouTube if you want to see.
Yes, if you
some
dare.
trash
If you dare.
recreation. Right.
But I mean, yeah, Kuro was great as a villain. We also got Django. Django was all right. He was
Okay.
cool.
Okay. We could talk about Oda just has a love for pop culture. Django
Oh.
was moonwalking
Right.
the whole time.
I was just gonna say he loves Tim Burton. Like, Oda gotta love Tim. Like, he loves.
That's the
all
vibe you
pop
got from
culture.
Django?
No, not Django, but I was gonna make a comment like pop culture. Like,
Oh, okay.
he loves like just all types of pop culture. Like,
He
just
does. He does.
I mean, it just was weird seeing Django just kind of moonwalking, and he did it was
That
smooth
killed
criminal, if anything.
You're right. He did.
Weird, but I mean, cool.
I couldn't relate it at the time. I was like,
I didn't relate it either.
Oh no, same. I was like,
is this supposed to be a racist joke, or is this supposed to be like
a tribute? I don't know.
I don't know. Is Michael supposed to be a cowboy?
Actually,
That was
the
depiction.
Django's whole look, the nose, the lips.
oh my God, yeah.
yeah.
His cheekbones,
Yeah.
his chin. Oh God, it's very on. Oh wow.
I think though, I will say it's cool to see later on his like pop culture influences. Some characters look directly like whoever they're trying to emulate.
Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz,
Oh my
right?
god, bro.
Which one's Lenny Kravitz? He's
We'll get there.
Oh,
It's
we'll
in-
get there.
I know Lenny Kravitz is one. Oh, okay, I got it. I got it. I just
I have some thoughts on who it is, but I don't know if I'm right.
There is a direct Steven Tyler, like without a question.
Oh God, Steve.
Dressrosa. I'll just say Dressrosa.
Okay. Yeah, you're
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
They're fun. I guess they're fun. It's a weird little entertainment value. It's like
It is.
that little
Yeah.
part of One Piece you can, like in One Piece trivia. Who is Django of the Black Cat Pirates based on? Is it A, Michael Jackson post, or is it B, Michael Jackson pre? B, Michael Jackson pre.
Eddie
Operation.
Murphy.
And on that note, I'm out of here.
I thought you were gonna say Eddie
joke.
Murphy.
It's not a joke. It's just like that. Like fans will
I get it.
pick out that stuff.
Yeah, I get it, and I'm in disagreement.
Yeah,
I'm in
okay.
active disagreement right here.
That's fine. That's fine.
The
It's okay.
last thing we get from Syrup Village is probably the most iconic moment is the acquirement of the Going Merry.
Yes.
I mean, Going Merry is just so beautiful. Such a beautiful ship. We won't talk about its ultimate fate, but right now, that was the ship. You know, you thought One Piece and the Going Merry, the goat head. That was easily the most recognizable.
Going Merry's the
aspect.
goat.
Yeah, who's
You
based
know
off
like
of
I
the
think
goat character.
the Going Merry was like the events of after the Going Merry was pretty much like it really reminded you like, damn, I'm really attached to this fucking anime. Like, why am I again crying over all this shit all the time?
Like even
this is the only anime that's made me cry so many times.
like even right now, like it's not just a ship. It might as well be a character.
It's a crew member. They got
Yeah.
two
It
crew
is a crew-
members.
it's a
They got
Nakama, yeah.
Usopp and they got the Going Merry.
And it's oh god, it's just beautiful. I love the mast. I love just how the Going Merry's designed. It's just perfect. And it comes with Usopp too, so he's a plus. He's a plus onto the crew.
And you know, it's surprising. Like even after so many years of One Piece being in print, the Going Merry is still a symbol of One Piece.
Yeah,
You know,
It is.
and it's this is where I hope, because I've seen some behind the scenes things of the new Netflix live action,
Ooh.
and the Going Merry looks a little bit too serious. Give me dumb goat head.
Oh, I
Give
haven't
me the
seen.
dumb
I
They
haven't.
have
goofy goat
images.
head.
It looks
I've
crazy.
seen nothing.
It
I've
looks
seen
crazy. Like it looks.
These images are out. Like
I
you
didn't
both
see
seen them.
these.
I mean, I've seen them, but it could be. I mean,
It could be like,
fake.
oh, we just tried it, and then maybe
Yeah.
they're like, oh, rebuild it. Like it's not dumb looking enough. It needs to be like naive and
Dumb looking at
Assuming this is the image you're referring to, yeah, it looks kind of dumb. Like I mean, like not dumb in the good way, like the Going Merry is. It looks too serious. It looks like an actual galleon ship, and
yeah.
and
And you know,
that's not what the
ew.
Going
Like-
Merry's supposed to be. Like
That
it's
looks
not.
You
It's
know,
like
scary.
a
even
ship
real
for the
ships-
Antichrist.
yeah, and even
Yeah,
real
those.
ships,
Yeah.
and even real ships, like real ships had goofy stuff all over them. Like that's
Yeah.
what Oda was basing.
I mean,
it off.
assuming this is the right one. I see like what I'm assuming is going to be the goat head in the front.
I mean, it looks like it's smiling, but it's too realistic. It looks
It's giving
almost
Poseidon's
demonic.
Fury at Universal Islands of
Oh.
Adventure.
Okay. I was
It's
looking at a
giving
different one.
Antichrist. That's
yeah,
what it's
Antichrist. I'm getting that.
I
see
see
it.
it. I see
That's what
it,
it's
yeah.
giving. It's giving
That realistic goat head, and then no, not for me, Oda. I mean, it's not even Oda. Whoever's the Netflix
Netflix.
people, Netflix. Why are you doing this?
I mean, that's a whole nother
That's a
whole nother issue, whether or not that's going to be successful or when it finally does come. Oh my, that
But-
It'll be
scares
tough.
me.
I mean, it'll be about this, like what we're talking about, like the beginning part. You know?
Oh no, I just
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
will it be faithful and how will it look? I'm worried.
It's
I
'cause-
have no expectations.
Well, Netflix, I just know Netflix has not been like good with anime adaptations as of late.
And I think it's really, and I mean, anime, live action anime adaptations. There is the best one you'll find is the Death Note live action, which is real. No, not the English, the Japanese.
Oh
version.
God, please be
Yes.
specific.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah, I only acknowledge the Japanese version because that one was actually probably better than the anime. I said it. Had a
Ooh,
I
better
need to
ending.
watch it. I need to
Yeah.
watch that. I haven't seen that one.
I
Yeah,
mean,
don't
I've
It's
heard,
watch-
really good.
I've
Don't
heard
watch
good.
the English one. Oh my
But-
gosh.
But
It is
what do you
very
call it?
bad.
I think going back to like the theme of this episode, these first arcs are so compared to the rest of One Piece, everything goes by so fast in these beginning arcs. And looking back on it, it really is that meme where it says, "Oh, people, you complain about having too much One Piece to watch, and then when you're caught up, there's not enough One Piece to go around." That's and I wonder in adaptation, how are they going to adapt well, Romance Dawn, Captain Morgan, Orange Town, Syrup Village. How are they going to adapt it well so that fans aren't like, what the hell is this? How are we going to get to a point where it's people can have, these characters that everyone knows by this point and loves, and actually get to know them in a new way? And it's going to be really hard because these first chapters, I feel like, are really hard to adapt if you're trying to stray away from the source material.
I mean, I hope they don't try to stray away. I feel these would be the easier ones to adapt because they are relatively quick,
straightforward.
Like
every detail in them comes back at the beginning.
I mean, please just put a story Helmer who cares about the source material.
I mean, the first chapter has to be really easy to adapt.
Yeah, right. No,
verbatim. You don't have to deviate from that.
Right. I mean, and as far as series goes, you can start setting up pieces in various episodes, not all just thrown in one episode. But that's however they want to tackle it. We'll see how that comes.
We shall
Fingers
see.
crossed, right?
Fingers crossed on
No
that.
expectations,
That's fine. Yeah, I think that's probably best to do it. Yeah, keep it there.
When I watch it, I hope I'm wild. If not, whatever.
I mean, kind
We
of
always
talking
have-
about. Oh, what, Nino?
We always have the chapters that are
We
coming
always
on.
have the chat.
Yeah, we do. We got the real thing.
We could
Yeah.
always come back and cry and read the original. But I would say that kind of covers this first portion of One Piece. I don't know if there's anything. I mean, obviously, after this,
There's
What?
one thing I think we forgot to talk about.
one thing. What?
Foreshadow. Talking about Ace.
Foreshadowing.
I'm sorry, not Ace. Shanks saving Luffy. Stopping, the
Oh,
Sea
so
King.
we're in spoiler territory now.
I said foreshadow. I said
I'm
I-
saying is
I said foreshadow. I'm just saying when he stopped
I'll-
the Sea King by looking at it, that was interesting.
But you want to know something? Here's another interesting thing. How come Shanks, a pirate of very big ambitions that we learn later on, how come he spent over a year in the East Blue?
Foreshadow.
There's a theory about Shanks knocking it up with the bar owner.
With Mariko?
Yes. Because she has a kid, like in the chapter that Luffy another deadbeat dad moment.
One Piece Red. We're gonna find out that's Maniko's kid.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious. Yeah, these. I mean, I don't know. That's just a theory. We don't know if that's the case, but it's a fan favorite theory. Shanks knocked her up and in typical
That's so interesting.
dad
because
fashion.
Pirates back in the day, as far as we know, used to have kids everywhere. So it's like you would think they would like expand on that lore and be like, oh well, Shanks actually has like at the end of it, like I actually have 12 brothers and sisters. I don't know any of them though. Like that would be
But you know what they
accurate.
also had? You know what they also had? Probably chlamydia.
Yeah.
Oh god.
They did.
Oh, but this is a
Or-
fantastical world. They don't have STD.
The devil fruit.
Scurvy is
negates all of
confirmed
that.
in One Piece.
Oh yeah, it is. It's
They
crazy.
So
have- yeah.
STDs are obviously confirmed in One Piece.
That's right.
Sorry, that I don't make the rules. All I'm saying is that pirates bathe like probably once a week, and Shanks, if he gets routinely beat up and thrown shit at bars like he does in Romance Dawn, I there's no way that man is keeping his privates clean. I'm
I know they
sorry.
stink. I know they all stink. I know
They probably
stink.
really do. Yeah.
One Piece stinks. Like I know they all stink.
You know, it's funny because seemingly with their hygiene, we're knocking them down quite a bit. Shanks and all his crew members seem to have all their teeth. You want to know who doesn't have all their teeth? Blackbeard.
Oh, you're right.
More shadow, but
foreshadow.
yeah.
Doesn't keep himself well. I don't know. It's just something I noticed.
Funny things to point out. Yeah.
Silly things. Anyone got final words on just this portion of One Piece? From Romance Dawn up to Syrup Village? Because next week we're going to be talking about Berete, the Sanji arc.
Yeah, I think
we're only going to talk about Berete next week.
Yeah, man, we're just going to talk about that. Yeah.
Damn.
Berete
yeah,
has
man,
enough
a
to carry
lot,
itself.
a lot happens. I think these first arcs set the groundwork really nicely, and then the next arc just kind of runs with it and delivers on all fronts.
I'll agree.
It does.
Yeah.
But any last things on Romance Dawn to Syrup before we close out?
It was nice to finally read it, being an anime only up until the time skip. It's nice to finally go back and finally read it.
You watched it first and then
I watched. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm reading it right now as we're doing these. So because I only read the post time skip because of the anime really dropped the ball at a certain point.
It did.
So it's really interesting to go back and reading things and to seeing how Oda developed as a mangaka. Like I really love when you can see a really good development of a mangaka. Berserk does it fantastic. Oda,
it does.
Yeah, Oda really, especially if you compare like these early chapters to even like let's say in the next major saga after Alabasta, things are so much different. And then compared now, when you were having these cataclysmic events in recent chapters, it's really nice to see how he develops.
I agree. Like One Piece is one of those few series that I feel like has just gotten better with time. You can't really say that about a lot of stories because like I'm just gonna pull one out the hat. Naruto was good for a time. As it went on, it was kind of like, oh, okay.
Part 1 was good, then it had a dip, and then Pain arc, the Pain saga, and then it dipped again.
And then it dipped again. Yes.
Maybe we should also do Naruto.
Oh God! But we're already doing One Piece. We're gonna be here for like the next 2 years.
No, I meant in
before
conjunction.
We catch up.
But it's fine. It's fine. Just throwing ideas. It's okay.
It's good. You might see a One Piece pod.
What are we gonna do? Talk about fillers? Like
we didn't talk about.
I don't want to talk about.
I can't believe we talked about Gaiman today.
We just touched on it. Gaiman's not filler.
I know it's not filler.
No, I'm talking about Naruto. Naruto is.
We gotta talk about Boruto.
Filler.
Stop.
Let's talk about Boruto.
Oh,
Grandmaster's favorite character.
And his
Naruto's son.
Naruto's son.
No, Boruto's dad.
No, Naruto's son. I ain't with that shit.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. There's our One Piece Chronicle recap on everything from Romance Dawn up until Syrup Village. Stay tuned with us for next week where we jump into Berete and we talk about Sanji and everything that happens in that arc. You might be questioning how we're going to do an entire pod on just Sanji. Listen, there's a lot that happens in that arc. And there's a lot that happens in the arc after that. So we're going to be covering those separately. I'm excited for next week, but today was also great. Loved covering these early chapters of One Piece. But yeah, let us know what you all think about early One Piece. Did any of these arcs hook you in before you got into the later portions like Arlong Park or Alabasta, if that's your favorite? Or were you sucked in with Syrup Village? Some people were sucked in with Syrup Village. Syrup Village was great. But anyways, that's all we have for this week at the Yonkō Table. I'm your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney. Oh, and don't forget to follow us on social media, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at the Yonkō Table. We make funny jokes on there as well. Just jokes, only jokes, great jokes. I'm your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney, fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop, Supernovas, Kame, Chris, and Nino Desplazado signing off, guys, and take care.